Hello there, one and all. This is Liz Grace Christie. Thank you for tuning in to my channel Galactic Mythology. And did you miss me? You may have noticed that there was no release of a weekend goddess report within the window of Thursday and Friday. As I record today, July 5th, 2025, it's Saturday, and I'm reporting for the weekend of July 4th through July 7th. Yep, I was severely burnt out, which is unfortunately somewhat of a normal thing for me, considering I'm a Gemini rising with a sun and moon in the sign of Sagittarius. I'm all about the details and the big picture, and I got a lot of creativity and a lot of energy until the moment I don't anymore. And yesterday, July 4th, 2025, I woke up with my muscles, particularly in my legs, aching and bug bites all over my legs because the night prior I had facilitated a pop-up DJ party on top of Rocky Butte, a national park in Portland, Oregon. I created and hosted this concept, and on July 3rd we executed it and it went off really well. However, we didn't plan for the bugs that appeared once the sun set in. And walking up Rocky Butte, if you've ever been there in Portland, Oregon, it's a hill with a steep grade, and I had to lug 2 soundbox speakers up and some Pioneer XLR decks, along with a snack table and everything else needed to pull this event off. I underestimated the energy I exerted because I thought it's a sunset day party. I'm going to be in bed before midnight, which is great, which I did. And when I woke up, I was sore. Considering what led me to Thursday and to the moment that I was having yesterday when I woke up sore, I realized I have been pushing myself really hard in pursuing all of the things that I feel like I need to do to make my life worthwhile. And I am quite literally a Jane of all trades. It's kind of annoying for me, and I've chatted with some astrologer friends who are also mutable dominant in their charts, and they joke with me about saying it's the mutable curse to have a lot on your plate all the time, as if you can't stop it because you do it to yourself, and then the world seems to give you more things to do as well. Enough about me. Let's dive into the weekend because I'm already late, and now you've heard my explanation. And if you're still listening, thank you, because I realize that my audience is about 40 views per week per video, which to me is about a classroom full of students. So thank you for tuning in, my lovely students. I'm Liz Grace Christie. This is the Weekend Goddess Report for July 4th, 2025 through July 7th. And to start the weekend off at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, July 4th, we had the moon leaving the sign of Libra and entering into the sign of Scorpio. Once in the sign of Scorpio, Miss Luna found herself in the company of asteroid goddess Hecate and asteroid goddess Vesta, resting within the first 10 degrees of Scorpio. As the day progressed on July 4th, 2025, Miss Luna would move on to meet up with Black Moon Lilith along with asteroid goddess Juno. And what this suggests through this interaction between the moon and this famous Brat pack that I have been talking about in past episodes, Hecate, Vesta, Black Moon Lilith, and Juno, suggests challenge, which is fitting because we're coming out of a quarter moon phase. When the moon was in Libra in the last week, we experienced that quarter moon phase, which is already a challenge, and having the moon then move out of this challenging position and into a out of sight, out of mind, invisible challenge. So yeah, basically we saw the challenge before earlier in the week, and now that challenge is behind us and it is invisible, but it still exists. We are here to evolve, are we not? I hope your 4th of July was fun, because I rested and I'm really glad I did. I feel so much better today and I'm happy to report. That was challenging for me. It was. I have a really hard time resting, and that's part of the reason why I burn out, because of all my energy, my fire and air energy. I'm very motivated, and whenever I'm very not motivated is a huge indicator to me that I need to rest. And I almost didn't rest because I had a friend of mine reach out to me to sell my clothes at a local club in Portland, Oregon for an event that she is helping to produce. And I said no, and that was a challenge. So I wonder what happened for you on the 4th of July. I'm sure there was something challenging, possibly social circles, because Hecate, Vesta, Black Moon, Lilith, and Juno are hanging out with each other like gal pals. So there's a lot of bad girl energy. I know I had an interaction on Wednesday this last week where it was very bad girl energy. Yeah. And that was when the quarter square moon was. Oh, how funny. Yeah, and that was very in my face, this girl with her bad girl energy. She was so in my face. And then this weekend I had to deal with internal turmoil, which was definitely invisible and subconscious. Scorpio. Yeah. Anyways, so that's why I like reflecting on astrology sometimes. I know a forecast suggests future, right? And now we're doing a little mini reflection cast and future cast. Hopefully I'm not confusing you guys. This is the Weekend Goddess Report, and it's number 36, which is very exciting. And it is here. Carrying on, we're starting the weekend with a challenge. On Monday, the moon will move into the sign of Sagittarius. And for some reason, I feel like this is going to be some relief, because the moon has been opposing and then in conjunct to Saturn and Neptune over in the sign of Aries in those first 2 degrees of the sign. And the moon was in opposition to asteroid goddess Ceres during its quarter phase lunation this last Wednesday, July 2nd, by the way. That was Wednesday, 2025. Having the moon move into the sign of Sagittarius by Monday, a fire sign, will be a trine to Saturn and Neptune, and then a trine to Ceres, which I feel very comforted by. The energy feels, like I said, like a breath of release. It's been tense. This last week has been really dense, I would say. My body definitely felt impacted by how I chose to spend my time. I'm an artist by trade. I handmake clothes very slowly, handmade, 100%, hand-dyed. I'm also an artist who can draw. I use my drawings as graphics for my clothing that I hand make. Yes, I silkscreen. You could say I'm a textile artist, but in many ways, I'm many things. It's hard for me to quantify. It is the mutable curse, as they say. Let's get back to the astrology. Starting the weekend off with the moon visiting the Brat pack, Hecate, Vesta, Black Moon, Lilith, Juno. After that quarter phase lunation, where the moon was in an opposition with asteroid goddess Ceres, our mother goddess who is linked to the goddess Isis, is saying there's something that we're remembering, something that was disembodied, dismembered. The story of Isis and Osiris is one where Isis goes to the underworld to find the pieces of her dismembered husband, Osiris, which can be taken as a metaphor for remembering forgotten memories in our subconscious. subconscious. This last week being so dense triggered pressure on our subconscious that opened up things that we forgot about. How we react to stressful situations shows a lot about our deep internal workings. I know when I got confronted by this young lady when I was attempting to park my car for a event that occurs every Wednesday at the Boathouse in Portland, Oregon. I vend my handmade clothing at local clubs, and the Boathouse is one of them, and I'm very grateful for them and that gig and opportunity to share my art and make a little bit of money and be exposed to a great community. Anyways, I was parking my car after unloading all of my gear for my vending booth, and I was a little rushed going out to park my car because I felt stressed about how late I was. There's very limited parking, and being a vendor, I really wanted to ensure that I was going to have close parking because when the event ends, I don't get to move my car. Everyone just leaves, and I have to haul all my stuff out to where my car is parked after that first initial load in. I was feeling the pressure to get a good spot, and because of that, I feel like I inadvertently manifested this bad bitch. So I basically pull out of the driveway of the venue and I do a sharp right, and I'm doing my best to go and pull off to the side and get a good parking spot on this shoulder because it's a venue that's kind of out of the way in Portland. It's near the airport, so it's almost like a highway road, and you park in the shoulder. It's not like a designated parking spot, but that's where we park. It's not like a parking lot, rather, and it gets filled really quickly. So I do that sharp right to get into the shoulder, and as I'm doing it, this car swoops in from behind me and does a diagonal park into the shoulder, and it really threw me off because I've never seen anyone do that on like a dirt shoulder on the side of a road, like a paved road, you know? And so I kind of like did a parallel diagonal situation with my van, and I was very unsure about it. And I sat there and I got out and I walked out to see around the cars ahead of me to see if there was room. And before I can do any action as move my car, I get a tap on my window and I look out, and it's this little young lady, and I'm a young person. I'm assuming she's younger than me because of her behavior. And she just was very rude to me and told me that I needed to park better, more diagonal, to allow more cars to fit. And she said it in a tone that was very demanding, and she had her eyes very squinty at me. And I immediately felt my body flush with energy. And I think I did okay, but I was definitely angry. I told her she was rude, and she just got ruder. Then she went into the event, and I shortly went in after, and when I walked in, I gave her a big smile, and I waved to her. And then the event proceeded to fill with other folks, and I thought about how I reacted because I felt like that girl triggered something in me that I hadn't felt in a really long time. And I guess I am telling you that story in the hopes that it helps you understand this energy that I'm reading from the chart for July 4th, 2025. And that incident that I had occurred 2 days prior to July 4th during that quarter phase lunation. And I'm just talking about how quarter phase lunations are physical, usually, like very blunt in your face. Where the moon was on July 4th, moving into Scorpio, was taking it into a place of the invisible. Carrying on, when that moon gets into Sagittarius, it's going to be a relief in some ways for us, like I said, because the moon has been in challenging aspects. Oh, and Venus has been conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. This weekend, July 4th through July 7th, though, Venus does enter the sign of Gemini. And when Venus does, she will come into an immediate trine with the Lord of the Underworld, Pluto, in the 3rd degree of the sign of Aquarius. It's kind of furthering that notion of relief as the weekend goes further. We start the weekend in a little bit of a reminiscence of the dense week we had before, and then we start to loosen up as the days go on, and by Monday, we're looking pretty good. Summer is here, and next week I will be possibly late again, if not super early. I'm going to Oregon Country Fair. I get to perform in their opening ceremony fire show over at Pirates Cove, and I will also be doing random other production things to help with the people who run Oregon Country Fair. And once all my duties are done, I will enjoy myself. I will be on site from Tuesday till Sunday night, possibly Monday next week. So with that in mind, thank you for being patient with me, and remember to be patient with yourselves. Oh, one more thing. The sun will be conjunct the fixed star Ceres on Sunday. Basically throughout this whole weekend, July 4th through 7th, it's in conjunction, but Sunday is going to be that exact point within 14 degrees of the sign of Cancer. And the fixed star Ceres is associated with Isis, and I already brought up Isis and Osiris earlier in this episode. So the themes of the underworld and remembering things that have been dismembered is high. Love you all. Bye.